Hey guys, it's Eddie, and welcome to my fourth devlog where I'll be talking about the improvements I've made to Project SplitCell in my 7th and 8th weeks of development. If you look on screen, you'll see my character is missing all their, extra components except for the core component which needs to be there. That's because I've added some conditions to the game in order for those components to spawn in. Uh, which allows me to have things such as spawn pads and stuff like that, which will, like in some games where you got areas that reload your ammo or regenerate your health, these spawn pads will respawn or initially spawn your body parts, which, like I've shown in my third devlog, will allow you to uh, use triggers to access locked areas of the game, to trigger open doors and stuff like that, or activate moving platforms. So yeah, I'm other than that little tweak which I've made to the character, there's also going to be some stuff I'm going to show now, such as level design, which I'm taking a crack at for the first time, because it's all good and well making a character, but I need to know how to design a decent enough level to challenge the player, for a tutorial level to show off what the player can do in the first place and things like that. So for now, I've got this simple setup where I start in a room, jump down this tube above, and then move on to this area with this large gap and this ramp. Obviously, this ramp won't allow my character to make that jump, but if I go to this a multicolored tile at the top of the ramp, it acts as a spawn pad and also triggers this platform. And making use of this, I can then use these body parts I've just gained to move on to the next area. Because as you can see up ahead, there's a blue barrier and a trigger, so I use my appropriate component to activate the trigger, and I move past that blue barrier, that door, the sliding door. Oh yeah, you can also see that my character's got this crosshair now for aiming, which will allow me to not guess where I'm aiming and actually accurately aim. And you can also see that the crosshair changes shape depending on the cross section of the body parts I've got equipped. So obviously for my arms, I get the square crosshair. For my upper and lower body, I either get an upside down or a right side up triangle. Uh, yeah, and obviously I don't aim with my core because my core, the ball on the ground doesn't shoot off anywhere. So, all right, moving on from my character and back to the, very minimal level design I've done so far. As you'll see, you have this trigger here with the image of a shooting target inside of it, and you also have this signboard with an image of a shooting target. That should clue the player in to, shoot at the targets, and then that trigger over there is one of the the only target you can see. And then you've also got this other signboard with an image of a children's game where you have to match a shape to a cross section, and that should hopefully clue the player in, okay, as well as shooting something, I also have to match the shape to the cross section of wherever I'm shooting in. And since the triggers will come in different shapes with different cross sections shaped cutouts, that should clue you in, okay, shoot into these triggers, but only shoot in the component whose shape matches. And then obviously you got this trigger here with the square cross section hole, and then the only body part you've got with a square cross section is your arms. So you aim at the target inside and you shoot and you see what happens. So now that the door's open, I can go through, and if I turn back and look at the boards again, I see the one with the target now has a target on it, but it's also got one of two written on it, which is basically telling me that, I'll need to have a clue here which indicates to the player that you only need one of the targets to have something shot into it for this door to open. And since there was a target on the other side of the door, if I put my other arm inside of that target, I can go back and retrieve my first arm, and therefore I can make it to the other side of this door with both of my character's arms, which is, you know, simple enough to figure out, I guess. And it means I don't have to have a spawn pad in all situations, you know, on at the end of each obstacle, because there should be some obstacles where you have to do a simple bit of problem solving to figure out, hey, I can get to the other side with, you know, at least this many of my components left, and then that should be enough to get you through to the next puzzle and the puzzle after that, up until you reach a point where there is a spawn pad. Okay, this part of the recording takes place 2 days after the previous part, and I've kind of cleaned up my level design and made, you know, everything a bit neater, kind of fleshing out how I want the environment for my tutorial level to look more, and obviously that will influence later level designs. As you can see, the beginning part's the same. I jump down the tube, I go on the spawn pad, a platform raises, and I'm on to the next part with the same clues I demonstrated before in order to get past this door and on to the next door. But as you can see, I put the one of two sign on a separate signboard instead of and the back of this one at the same time. So that's, you know, very, very obvious what I meant to do. Oh, and just in my level design, all the pieces of geometry that I've got are either just regular square static meshes or me making use of the geometry tool in Unreal. Anyway, there was just a glitch there which launched me up and made me skip a part of the level I wanted to go through, so I'm just gonna speed run through it, I guess, back to where I was, actually go up the ramp this time, and end up here. And as you can see, I've got these bounce walls. I shoot a component off of them and it bounces off. If I aim it right, I can shoot off the wall and into the trigger. There's also a bit of code to help make sure that the component that bounces off the wall will go to the nearest trigger by making use of the trace functions that are built into Unreal. It will make sure that if a trigger is close enough to the flight path of where my component is going, that the component will bounce off the wall and then fly into the appropriate thing. So yeah, I made it past this obstacle, which required two of the two triggers to be active for the doors to spread out. And then, yeah, move on to this part where, as you can see, this component I can't move through this window, but I can shoot the other body parts through. So in other words, the core isn't allowed through, but the other body parts are, which allows me to make use of it, to shoot through it, activate triggers, and, you know, move past it. Now, I can retrieve my arm past here, as I'm trying to demonstrate. Yeah, I just retrieve my arm. Or, since there's a spawn pad right here on the ground, I didn't even have to do that. I'd have just needed to roll over the spawn pad and I could have gotten my components back. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to show for this devlog. Hopefully now that I've got kind of a better idea of the sort of level design I want, hopefully I'm able to flesh this out way better by my 5th devlog. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe to receive more updates, and I'll see you in 2 weeks from now.